Hello, welcome to my channel, Rilani Creations. My name is Wendy and today we'll be making these Christmas wreath earrings. To make this earring, we need 6 red beads. They are 8 mm in size. We will also need 140 green seed beads or Delica beads. To make the bow on top, you need 10 red crystals and a white pearl for the middle. You don't have to use a white pearl. I used the white pearl here because it has a big enough hole size to fit through the wire that I am using. You'll also need a star ear stud or any earring hooks that you have. Here I have 6 inches of 20 gauge half hard wire. You'll want to bend about 1 inches of this wire, leaving 5 inches to form the circle later. This 1 inch of wire here is where we will be adding the bow later. You'll also need about 24 inches of 28 gauge wire and another 8 inches of 28 gauge wire. Tools wise, you'll need a chain nose plier, a nylon jaw plier, a round nose plier, and a wire cutter. Using the 20 gauge wire that you have, form a circle using a round wire wrapping tool. Grab the longer 28 gauge wire that you prepared and wrap it around the circle 5 to 6 times. Cut off the shorter tail part of the 28 gauge wire and use a chain nose plier to flatten any wire that is sticking out. Add 20 green seed bead or Delica bead to the 28 gauge wire and wrap it around the bigger wire a few times. You will want to push down on the beads while you're wrapping it so there's no gap between the beads. Now wrap the 28 gauge wire around the bigger wire 2 to 3 times to lock in the beads. Now put the 8 mm red bead through both the 28 gauge wire and 20 gauge wire. Wrap the 28 gauge wire around the bigger wire 2 to 3 times to lock in the red bead. Repeat these steps 5 more times to complete the circle. You can massage the green seed beads while you're wrapping it around the bigger wire so that it forms a circle nicely while you're wrapping. Now that you have added all the red and green beads to the circle, wrap the 28 gauge wire around the bigger wire about 6 times to lock everything in and to finish it up. Cut off any extra 28 gauge wire and then use a chain nose plier to flatten any wire that is sticking out. Now use a round nose plier to create a loop at this side of the circle. While you were adding beads to the circle, it would have deformed slightly, so put it through the round wrapping tool again. I am flattening the loop with the chain nose pliers slightly so that when I put it through the other wire, the circle will form more nicely. I bent the loop a little too much, so here I am reshaping it with the chain nose plier. Now it is time to make the red bow. Put 5 red beads into the shorter 28 gauge wire that we prepared earlier. Put one side of the wire through 2 of the beads from the opposite side. Tighten the wires and then push the beads together so that they're almost parallel. As I mentioned earlier, I'm using a pearl for the middle because of how big the hole size is and it can fit through this 20 gauge wire. So before you decide what bead to use, try to see if it can go through the 20 gauge wire. Now we add the pearl to one of the wires and we'll put the other wire through the opposite side. Add 2 red crystals to one wire and put the other wire through the opposite side. Now add 3 crystals to one wire and put the other wire through the opposite side. Here I am putting one wire through 2 beads to bring it to the other side where the other wire is. Now I am twisting both wires together slightly to lock everything in before hiding the wire and cutting it off. Now add the bow to the wreath that we created earlier. There is a little too much wire, so I'm cutting off a little before creating a loop. Make sure you don't cut off too much. I am taking my time creating the loop here because I want to push the bow down as much as possible so that it sits nicely on top of the wreath. Now add the air stud or airing hook by opening up the loop with a chain nose plier, adding the air stud, and then closing the loop. And there we have it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that you liked how these earrings turned out. See you next time. Bye!